and welcome to this week's edition of Will G's Football Talk Show. We have a very, very good episode for you this week, so stick around. I'm sure you guys are probably wondering why I am wearing Jaguars gear, and it's because it was Halloween weekend. I hope you guys also had a great Halloween weekend. I know I did. Take a look at who I was for Halloween. So yes, I was the myth Gardner Minshew. It was fun. Not a lot of people knew who he was, but deep down inside, I know I was one with Gardner Minshew on Saturday night. But let's get into it with our weekly recap. Week 9 was a very thrilling one. Let's start off with Thursday night. Jimmy G shot his shot at Aaron Andrews Thursday night. Also walked away with a victory in Arizona, 28-25. Harrison Butker kicked his Chiefs to victory on Sunday over the Vikings in a big 26-23 win. Christian McCaffrey just brought his name back up in the MVP race with 166 total yards and 3 total touchdowns in their 30-20 win over the Titans. But Russell Wilson made it just a lot harder for him in their huge overtime win over the Buccaneers, 40-34. Russell Wilson had 378 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Dolphins finally get one in the win books, leaving the Bengals as the only team without a win this season as they defeated the Jets 28-16 on Sunday. Congrats to Brian Flores and the Miami Dolphins. The Chargers stunned Aaron Rodgers in LA this past weekend as they dominated the Packers 26-11. Lamar leads his Baltimore Ravens in a statement victory over the no longer undefeated New England Patriots, 37-20. And last but not least, the Black Cat of East Rutherford made an appearance Monday night, cursing both the Giants and the Cowboys forever. But the Cowboys walked away victoriously, 37-18. And that will wrap up Week 9's recap. Now let's get into Will G's Fantasy Football Talk. Make sure you start Marlon Mack this week. Yes, he has struggled as of late, but the Dolphins are a bad team. They've given up a chunk in yards per carry, and they've also allowed the top 5 most points to running backs. So make sure Marlon Mack is in your starting lineup. And make sure you give Kyler Murray the start this week against Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers have given up 21 total touchdowns for quarterbacks this year, also on average allowing 22.7 fantasy points per week. And my sit-ems for this week, Baker Mayfield starting this list off. Baker didn't play awful last week, but he faces another tough test, the Buffalo Bills, who have only surrendered 5 passing touchdowns all year long. And Joe Mixon against the Baltimore Ravens. Make sure you keep him on the bench. The Baltimore Ravens only average 74 rushing yards per game, so it's going to be a tough test for the struggling running back this week. And that will wrap up Will G's Fantasy Football Talk. Now let's move on to this week's injury report. Deshaun Jackson recently just had surgery on his abdomen, leaving him out for the rest of the regular season, but giving him slim chances to play if the Eagles make the playoffs. Adam Thielen is expected to miss some time after re-aggravating his hamstring in Sunday's loss versus the Chiefs. His timetable for return is still unknown. T.Y. Hilton, who has been battling a calf strain all year long, is expected to miss some time re-injuring that calf. He is not going this week versus the Dolphins. Sterling Shepard is back in concussion protocol after being released from it Friday. Sterling's symptoms came back Saturday night, leaving the Giants and Shepard in a very scary situation for the rest of the season. Brandon Cooks, who is also in concussion protocol, will not go this Sunday versus Pittsburgh. And David Johnson and Patrick Mahomes are expected to go this week after missing both the last 2 games. That is huge returns for the Chiefs and the Cardinals. But that'll wrap up this week's injury report. Stay healthy, boys. Now the moment you guys have all been waiting for, Will G's rapid fire predictions with some money bets. Last week in my money bets, I went 1-1. So let's take a look at those games real quick. Green Bay, I had covering 4 points over the Chargers, and they weren't even close. They got totally dominated. But the Monday night thriller versus the Cowboys and Giants, I had the over of 48, which they hit with combined scores of 37 and 18. So the over hit, the Packers didn't. I always love betting the Packers because if they win, I get money. If they lose, I get the thrill of the Packers losing. So this week for my bet picks, I have the Seattle Seahawks covering 6 points on Monday Night Football. And with the return of Patrick Mahomes, I have the Chiefs covering -3.5. So expect the Chiefs to blow out the Titans this week and the Seahawks to keep it close and or beat San Francisco 49ers on Monday night. Now on to my rapid fire predictions. I went 7-6 last week, putting me at 70-47 overall on the season. Lucas hit his lock of the week, putting him at 6-3 in Trace's upset. He didn't have one. He is now 2-5 on the season. But let's get into it. The Raiders knock another win up in the win column as they knock off the Chargers in the Golden State, 32-22. The Giants don't have to travel far for this away game as they knock off the Jets, 28-14. Falcons head down to the Bayou and get absolutely crushed by Kamara and the Saints, 35-21. Mahomes, who is expected to play this week, takes on Tannehill's Titans, but Mahomes walks away victorious in this one, 30-17. The Ravens get a second bye week this week as they take on the NFL's worst franchise, 28-10 over the Bengals. The Bills advance to their best start through 9 games since 1993 and move on to 7-2 as they beat the Browns this Sunday, 24-14. And the Cardinals head southeast to the beach in Tampa Bay to take on the Bucs as they fall, though, in a close one, 28-21. The Bears bounce back this Sunday at Soldier Field after 4 straight losses. In this week's Lucas Hoy Block of the Week, 24-17 over the Lions. The Colts get back on track after a tough loss in the Steel City and dominate the Dolphins, 28-13. McCaffrey has a huge game against the Packers, but that Carolina defense cannot stop Aaron Rodgers, 32-24 Packers. The Rams head all the way across the country to snap the Steelers' 3-game winning streak, 32-20. The Dallas Cowboys improve their win streak to 3 games now as they take down the Vikings in the Big D, 24-21. And the Seahawks take down the only unbeaten team left, the 49ers. I have the Seahawks winning 28-24 under the lights Monday night. And that will wrap up this week's Will G's Rapid Fire Predictions. Also, you know how it goes. I'll wrap up Will G's Football Talk Show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and week out. Make sure you leave a like and hit that subscribe button for more weekly Bears and NFL content. Bear down, everybody.